we are trying to run some statistics when we have a dice being rolled. So we have a dice, it has 6 sides and it has numbers on them from 1 to 6. Okay, the first one is asking us to complete the probability table for this discrete random variable y. So what we're saying is that we've got this variable y and that represents the dice being rolled. Okay, so that's the variable y, and it can either have a value, right, of that can be equal to 1 when the dice is equal to 1, etc., etc. And we can have the probability of that value, right, being equal to 1 over 6. So let's complete the table. So we've got this little case, lowercase y, to say the value of the dice. So that can either be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And then we can say that the probability of our discrete random variable, the uppercase thing, being equal to y. Okay, so this is going to be nice and simple. It's just 1 divided by 6 for all of them. So you can just put it in. It's a equally weighted dice, and so that is an easy 1 mark. All right, part A done. Let's get on to part B, okay? And this asks us to find the probability, right? The probability of our discrete variable y when it is less than or equal to 4. Okay, so if we look at the table that we've just created, that is all of these answers. Okay, so this is a 1 mark question. You have a calculator. Use your calculator as much as possible. This value here is going to be 1 divided by 6, and you can say like plus, so plus all the events, but there's 4 of them and they're all equally weighted, so just times it by 4. And you can, if you really want to, you can do the maths yourself to simplify it without a calculator. But let's use our calculator to make life a lot easier. So we can go that 1 divided by 6 and then times by 4. And that's equal to that number, but we're doing like maths here, so we want the exact value. So in this case, flick over the decimal value to a standard, hit enter again, and that's 2 divided by 3. That's 2 divided by 3. There we go. That's 1 mark. Okay, so the next part is saying determine the expected value and standard deviation of y. Okay, this is a calc question, so I'm going to show you the easy way to do it. So the calculator does everything, and you can check your results. So this is part C. So we're wanting to find the expected value of y, and also we are wanting to find our standard deviation of y. So let's get our table out and let's replicate this table, but let's do it with statistics, and we can find all the values like straight away. So the first list is going to be our value of y. So that's imagine this being flipped over. So that's all the values of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. So we can just type that in. Obviously I can cheat because I got a little, I guess, keypad here with me. So second list is going to be the probability. So it's 1 divided by 6. So you can just keep punching that in. I'm just going to punch it in there. And then what we do is we do a calculation. We've got 2 variables. We're going to say that the x list is the first bit, and then the y list is the second bit. And so the x list tells us what the value is, and the y list tells us the probability of that. And then when we click OK, we get all this information, like all of these things here. Like I don't even know what it means, right? There's so much in here. So let's break down the key ones that we're interested in. So specifically, this thing here. All right, that is actually equal to your expected result. It is called your mean, okay, or your average. And so that guy there is equal to 3.5. There's 1 mark straight away. You can say that the average result is going to be equal to 3.5. 1 mark, okay? The next value is to find our standard deviation, okay? And so where is it? It's this value here, because it's like sigma is the standard deviation. Okay, and sigma is equal to, in this case, the square root of our variance. Okay, so normally the equation sheets that you provide give you the the expected result of y in this case, and then also the variance of y. Okay, but we can say that the variance of y is equal to the square root, sorry, the standard deviation of y is equal to the square root of variance of y there. So just looking at the value on our calculator, this guy here, we can say it's immediately 1.7078 and then da 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 da. So there we go. We've got the 1 mark here, and we've also got a 1 mark here. But we're probably going to need a little bit more because it is a 4 mark question. Okay, so we're going to need to have the equations here and just write them down and just put in the numbers and then say use calc. But hopefully that makes sense, like how to use these values here. I don't think you're going to need much else, but that's the most important bit. So let's have a look at our two equations. So the expected result is going to be equal to the sum of y, as a little lowercase y, which is basically everything here in the green. So that's all of this stuff here. So we sum them up. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, all of that sort of thing, right? So the sum of it times by, in this case, the probability. So it's like a weighted average. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that before, but it is a weighted average. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to sum them all up. So it's like a chunk. We sum them up so that 1 times by whatever the probability was, and that's 1 divided by 6. All right, that's the first bit. And then we say plus 2 times by the probability, 1 divided by 6. So I'm going to highlight the things here in green so you can see the equations there. And then the ones in red were the bottom ones. And so when we look at our table, you can see that it's like just timing them together. Okay, so literally all you're going to need to do for your marks is say EY is equal to the sum of y and then the probability that corresponds to it. Okay, and then say use calc. All right, and then just give your answer, that 3.5. Boom, there's your 2 marks. All right, 1 mark here and 1 mark here. The next equation that we're going to use is to say that the variance, okay, the variance here is equal to our this equation here. Let me write it down. Okay, so you say that the variance of y is equal to this one. You might have a slightly different equation on your formula sheet, but this one still works. Okay, and then you can say use calc, and then again, give your value here. So it's going to be kind of the double or the squared component of it. So if we go back to our calculator here, it will be the squared component. And then we want to say that the sigma, so the standard deviation is the square root of that. And there we go. So really, really quickly there, that value is just, let me remember which one it is. I'm pretty sure it's that 1.8, but I'll just double check real quick. Oh, no, it isn't. So anyway, we can just say it's roughly equal to that 2.9. And then we can say that the final value here is equal to 1.71. And we can say 3 significant figures. Cool. So I guess the key one is you can use all the equations if you want to, but you've got a calculator. Just make your life easier. Go to the statistics page, or you can have any activity in there, which has all these values in there, and you can use. But don't do everything the hard way. Like, don't do it manually, otherwise you're going to waste time. So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, reach out. There's lots of other examples like this on my website. Feel free to find it in the link below and hopefully get good results in your tests.